Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Ask Me Anything session with Galp this time. The idea today is to tell a little bit more about the Startup the Future challenge that Galp is launching this week. They have been working on five tracks for different initiatives that they've been working with from the open innovation teams and from their own innovation areas. And the idea today is to discuss a little bit about that challenge. The first one of them today, which is going to be bringing energy to everyone. And this is the challenge that we're going to be talking about today. This is the first one of five challenges that the Galp is launching, and that is going to be rolling for the next weeks. We're going to be talking a little bit more on that later. So first of all, a little bit about Hello Tomorrow. Most of you know a little what we do, but basically we're an organization that has been for the last 11 years building this ecosystem of startups, corporates, and investors to foster this relationship so we can leverage what the new developments in deep tech, and we can bring solutions that can be helpful for our society forward. Now we have 30 people in the plus in our team. We're a mix of science background, business, design. The idea is to help bridge these gaps between corporates and startups and help foster these connections that are going to bring solutions that can help us also this time with Galp. Who are we here today with us? So on the Galp side, we have Manuel Andrade. He is the head of Open Innovation, and Nimei Selikiak. I'm sorry about the pronunciation of that last name. I'm gonna hear it from you soon. But she's the Open Innovation Project Manager. So I'm gonna leave it to you initially. You can make a quick introduction of yourselves, and then we can take it from there. Manuel, maybe we can start with you.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so thank you for being here. We are really thrilled to start this new edition of Startup the Future, and it's great that we can do this Ask Me Anything session. So I run the Open Innovation area in Galp, and I'll talk a little bit more about Galp in a while. But basically, what we do, we intend to be the open door for collaboration with the outside ecosystems, either startups or entrepreneurs or universities or researchers. So what we do is try to connect them to our company and try to find solutions and technologies that can help us speed up energy transition. So we are a regional energy company, and so that's the main goal of innovation nowadays is to speed up this energy transition and decarbonize all our activities. I'm a mechanical engineer by nature, but today I'm really thrilled to work on innovation. And that's it, I think. Nimai, go ahead.
Hello all again. I'm Nimai. I'm here at Galp for the last 2 years. And for the last 1 year, I'm working with Manuel in the Open Innovation team. By nature, I'm an urban planner, but last 2 years, I'm putting all my effort on the energy transition with the help of my team and the Galp efforts. Today, also, in addition to mentioning our general effort, I'll be sharing with you my purpose in this call is mentioning you how was in the last Startup the Future Challenge winner, what are we doing at the moment, giving you and updating you on the topic, and answer if there's any possible question on your side.
Thank you, Nimai and Manuel. So now on my side, so I'm Juan Botero. I'm an innovation manager at Hello Tomorrow, and I'm here with Gonzalo and Alba from the consulting team that we're in charge of this project with Galp. So the idea is now we're going to introduce more and talk a little bit more about the project. Remember that you have a chat on the right bottom right that you can ask questions at any moment during the discussion. We're going to have a moment at the end to ask those questions and to make sure we cover all the topics that we came here today to talk about. So now we can switch it over again to you guys and maybe tell us a little bit about what's this project is about and what brought you to to start an initiative like this?
Sure. Okay, so a little bit about Galp and why we decided to do this. Okay, so Galp, as I was telling you, is an energy company. We originally started being an oil and gas company, and we've been actually for 150 years we were a gas company. So we provide the first the first gas lightning to Lisbon, and from then we start expanding. We've been working a lot in the oil side, and now we have a very clear objective. We need to be completely decarbonized by 2050, and for that we are changing completely our portfolio from fossil generation to renewable generation. We still are the fourth largest producer of oil in Brazil. But we are hoping to change that. We hope that in a few years we are lower on the scale, because it means that we change completely to solar, wind, and other forms of energy. We are present in 10 countries. I think it's probably something that it's important to mention, and I'll tell you a little bit more about what countries we are in, because most of the things that we will be doing is in those countries. It doesn't mean that can be in another ones, but mainly it will be in those countries. So I don't think I have them in the presentation, but I'll tell you right now. So we are present in Portugal, obviously, because we were based in Lisbon. We are present in Spain, also in Brazil, as I told you. And then we are present in some African countries like Angola, Mozambique, Cape Verde, Guinea-Bissau, São Tomé e Príncipe, which is an archipelago on the coast of Africa, and Eswatini. Okay, we have around almost 7,000 employees, and we have 54 nationalities working with us. So we are quite an international company nowadays. As you can see, Nimai there has 3 nationalities, I guess, right, Nimai? So you are Iranian, Turkish, and now you married a Portuguese guy. So
soon the third one.
So you got the third one. Okay. So probably can keep going. A little bit more about the numbers. We have almost 1,300 service stations. Those are mainly in Portugal and Spain, but we have some also in Africa. We produce 127 barrels of oil a day, and we have a refining capacity for 226,000. That's the total amount of oil products that we sell, 7.5 million tons, and we have a lot of. I mean, the market share we have in Portugal is we are the only refiner, but in Spain we also have a very interesting market share, being the third or the fourth company in terms of service stations. Okay, we don't have a retail operation in Brazil, for instance, but it's something that probably in the future will change. We are powering nowadays through our electricity sales and natural gas sales 2.6 million homes. We are generating around 4 gigawatts of electricity or selling. We will get there in 2025. Nowadays we are actually producing 1.5. And we hope that we will be the largest EV charger supplier in Iberia in a couple of years. Nowadays we have 2,641 charging stations, but we want to be to get into 2025 with 10,000, and we hope that in 2030 we don't even have the number, but it will be around 50,000 probably, because we believe that electric mobility will be massified, and in order for that to happen, we will need much more charging stations. And we are actually quite doing some interesting work with some startups that have solutions for EV massification. But that's another story. So keep going on the slide. Yeah. So as we were telling you, we are one of the most important solar installation and selling solar energy in Portugal and Spain. We do it through a company that we have that's Galp Solar, and we also promote self-consumption. We sell solutions with batteries and solar panels. We also have Galp Electric, which is and the Loop, which is a startup that it's ours that manages electric mobility platforms and solutions. Okay, so this is a big part of the company that now it's growing a lot, because as we try to get more to the renewable side, we are preparing structures in order to sell more renewable energy, and we hope that soon we will only be selling only green electricity. Okay, probably can get going. Yeah. So, and why are we doing this? Because the world is changing. We want to be carbon neutral by 2050, and we know that most of the technologies are not invented or commercialized. We will need to do a lot, and we understand that innovative companies will make the world better. We think it's through innovation that we will get there. That's why we are doing these programs, and that's why we intend to find startups that have products or solutions or technologies that we can test. They can test with us and help us speed up this energy transition. And that's why we are here. I mean, when we decide to do a program like this, the end game is always to try to find solutions that we can test in either our infrastructure, our facilities, or our customers, and we've been doing this for a long time. Okay, yeah. And so how can we boost innovation in the corporate world? I mean, this is for us. It's a complicated question, because, as you probably all know, corporates and startups, sometimes they don't speak the same language. There's cultural barrier. There's a lot of things that could go wrong. We are here to make sure that those things don't happen, and that a startup that that works with us or tries to test something with us does it with the right people in the company, with the business unit, and that if the result is good, we don't have any limit. We can either buy the product from the startup, so the startup starts to be our supplier. We can send the information to our CVC. So if that's a possibility, we can invest in the startup. So there are a lot of possibilities when it comes to do this. Okay. And just tell you a little bit on innovation, what we do. Okay, so because it's with us that you will be working. Normally, the pilots and the tests that we are doing, they are doing with innovation and the business units, and that's why we are organized in this way. So we have 3 centers that mirror the 3 big business units of Galp. So innovation has 3 centers that help startups and entrepreneurs working with the business unit. Okay, so we have one for production and operations, so all the part that it's industrial. We have one for renewables and energy management, and then obviously the commercial center that has everything related to our commercial activities, our customers, our electricity clients, our stores in the service station. So because it's not mentioned in the presentation, but we have around 700 stores. So we are like a huge retail operation. So we have convenience stores in a lot of our service stations. So it's also something very important. Galp Upcoming Energies is our platform, so it's the open innovation platform that we run. And one of the things that we do is programs like the one you are seeing. So for you to have an idea of the focus areas on what Galp is looking for. Battery value chain, we are creating, we know how important batteries are going to be in the future for everything, not just for cars, but to store energy. As more and more renewable energy gets into the world and in the grid, we will need to store it, because obviously the sun doesn't shine at night, the wind doesn't blow up all the time. So more and more energy storage will be needed. And so we are building a battery value chain from scratch, since extracting the lithium that we have in Portugal until the recycling of the batteries, obviously making batteries. We just signed a partnership with a joint venture with Northvolt, the big manufacturer of batteries for the likes of Volvo and BMW. So we will be doing a lot of things in terms of batteries. Obviously, biofuels, it's very important that there will be some things that will need to keep running with the same engines, but we cannot put in there carbon intensive fuel. So biofuels is a good solution, and we are looking into that. And when we say biofuels, we are also saying sustainable aviation fuels, for instance. Okay. Carbon capture, it's another area very important for us. Mobility, as I was talking about electric mobility. Energy cost and optimization. This is an area where a lot of software and energy, the landscape is changing completely, because we were used to a world where you produce energy in big infrastructure, so power stations, and then you would spread the electricity to the consumer. Now, more and more, we are becoming consumers and producers at the same time. So there will be a huge layer of software on top of the energy, and that's a lot of work, and that's a lot of things that need to be still developed. Obviously, renewable energy, and we are talking about solar, wind, offshore wind, float offshore wind, and other forms of energy that we will be looking into. And green hydrogen and sustainable fuels, I talked a little bit about it, but we believe that hydrogen will be key to do the energy transition. It's a very excellent carrier for it, and we are already building some electrolyzers to do green hydrogen. Sorry. We have around 100 million euros of projects invested on projects ongoing in innovation. 61 big ones. Actually, we have more, but these are the ones that we consider big enough to talk about. We are, as in terms of team, 25, 9 nationalities. We are spread around the world, and it's something that we are very proud of, because we have people in Rio de Janeiro, people in Norway, people in Madrid, people in Lisbon, and so it's and I'm forgetting something. Anyway, is a question here already in the chat that I can answer? Because it says, is the collaboration possible with a company not based in Portugal? Definitely. So yeah. We are working with companies from all over the world, and we are doing pilots also in places that are not Portugal. So normally we'll be doing the pilots in the countries where we are. Okay, that's what normally we do. But the startup can be from anywhere. I don't want to spoil what Nima is going to say, but for instance, we are working with a Nigerian startup to do a pilot in Mozambique. So all that is possible. Okay. And then there's another question. You already signed a contract with the battery manufacturer. We are a Canadian battery manufacturer. Is this still relevant issue for you? Yes, it depends obviously on what it is. We can talk about it, but what we did was that. So we are building a battery value chain. So we will explore the lithium. We will build a lithium refinery. With that lithium refinery, we will in partnership with Northvolt, we will supply Northvolt for them to do the batteries. But we are always looking for other solutions. So yes, my first answer would be yes. So in a nutshell, I think this is it. I think now I'll pass to Nimai. Well, I think I have one more slide. Yes, okay. Which is basically what we do, and I think we've been talking about this. So we need to align with our business units, and that's our job. We need to identify and prioritize the tech trends that now in our industry are important, and we do that every year. We do tech radars, and then we establish our roadmap. Okay. We conduct gap analysis, we develop a roadmap, and then we pilot and test new technologies. And that's why we are here today. It's because we want to test new technologies that might help us in the future. Okay.
Thank you, Manuel. Maybe before we shift to Nimei, there's a question that's quite interesting. Are you looking for distributed generation solutions?
Yes, definitely we are. It's not in this, I mean, in Startup the Future, yes, definitely not in this module. This one is about social innovation and about bringing energy to everywhere, but definitely. So I would say to Alfredo, if you want to just join then the AMA session where we will be talking about that, because it's very important. It's very important for us that distributed generation solutions, definitely.
Yeah, thank you, Manuel. Again, this is the first of 5 tracks that we're launching with Galp. So we're gonna at the end share with you the dates with the other challenges that we'll take a look at.
Okay. So now I'll pass to Nimai, because just to tell you, Startup the Future last year, we are doing a pilot with them, and Nimai is running that pilot. So she'll tell you a little bit more about that pilot. So to show you that we walk the talk. So what we intend to do this year is exactly the same thing that we did last year, or probably even more. If we are more successful, we probably will do more pilots than this year. But Nimai.
Thank you so much, Manuel. Just also add a bit on the previous question. It was like just to give some numbers. Last year, Startup the Future edition, we had actually application around 54 countries with 4 continents. And when it's come to the actually focusing on the Coolbox side, so today I will be sharing with you, like Manuel also mentioned, over brief, like what we were doing with Coolbox since the final day, what happened. And actually in the picture on the left, you can observe that awarding moment of the previous winner, where the Coolbox team stand alongside with the 4 other finalists, which all of them were from outside Portugal. And we had the opportunity to bring them all to our booth in during the Web Summit to Lisbon. And it was an incredible opportunity for us to also listen to them. And it was a good opportunity for them to showcase their innovative solution in our open stage. So what happened after the competition? So Coolbox won, and since they were in the winner, and their solution was the solar cooling solution, primarily designed for the Africa. And our Nigerian startup offers a sustainable and accessible refrigeration solution in the continent, in Africa, where only 17% of the population had access to reliable cold sources for food preservation. And Coolbox create this versatile solution where we could use the fridge, where we could use the cool boxes, which is their product, as a fridge or a freezer, could serve both in any off-grid location. So, which they were powered also by solar panels and the lithium batteries, and this was giving the product the opportunity to run even consecutive 7 days, even there was no sunlight in the next day. And not just by the food, by engaging with them, we also learned these products also could preserve the vaccines or any other medical product or any perishable goods. One of the key features also Coolbox had is a cooling as a service model, which allows the customers to access cooling services in an affordable cost. And this model aligned perfectly with Galp presence in multiple cities in Africa, like initially Monel mentioned, and which one of them was Mozambique. So since we recognize the immense potential to test this solution in Mozambique, not only offering sustainable and reduced carbon footprint, but also it was possible to operate with the pay-as-you-go model, which would be giving possibility again, like I mentioned, was the off-grid location, helping these people that in need to preserve the food. So for us to test the effectiveness of this product in Mozambique, we engaged with the Galp Mozambique team and established partnership with two NGOs. One of them was Girl Move, which was located in Nampula in Mozambique. It's an organization helps girls when they're in their holiday season, mainly average university level, to test different solutions where they can contribute to community. So we were already partnered with them, and we asked them to test also this solution in their community. And the other one was the Makobu NGO more to the north, Mozambique, in the Cabo Delgado province. And through this partnership, we aim to implement this solution as a social business venture, and while making a positive philanthropic impact in Mozambique. So our goal is to create a significant social economic change in the zone with these small communities, and this is also creates opportunity for Coolbox team to test their solution in a different market in Africa. As today, when we engage with them, they were already in Nigeria, and as today they are also start working in Kenyan market. So at present, what we are doing is today, like I mentioned, we are at the moment developing 3 pilots in total with these 2 NGOs, one with Girl Move and 2 with Makobu. And at the moment, we are finishing our logistics like arrangement, shipping of the cool box, and I hope in few months, we will be ready to launch it. So you will also start hearing from us the more results and how it's created an impact, and if we are reaching our goal with them. And I think that's all for now. Thank you for your time, and if you have any question towards the session, we can keep answering.
Thank you very much, Nimai. So we have some other questions regarding the challenge, and maybe we can talk a little bit about what is in it for startups, why should they join, and what's happening once they would win a collaboration with you.
Yeah. So what you can tell you in here is this: co-develop a fully funded pilot with Galp to test business solutions and gain access to new markets. This is the main thing. Okay. We want to find solutions or technologies that help us, as I told you, accelerate energy transition, or in this case, because one of the things that we have as a priority in innovation is the social part. So we want to ensure that we do this energy transition, but we do it in a fair and inclusive way. So an ethical way. So we try to promote access to energy as one of our pillars. And as Nimai was saying, for instance, the pilot with Coolbox is not just philanthropy. It's philanthropy, obviously, because we want to give refrigeration to villages off the grid, for instance, in Mozambique. We can do it in other geographies if it goes well, but we will also want to launch social business. We want to help people launch their own business and make money out of it, and we make money out of it. So it's always something that it's important for us. Okay. As I mentioned, connect to our corporate VC. It's also important because if we feel that the startup or the solution have potential, we don't have any limitation and we can invest in it. Okay. And another thing that you will have is that we will bring you the winners. We'll bring them to Lisbon to Web Summit, and they will be able to pitch their solutions in Web Summit, and also find some other investors or other companies or customers. So this is basically what we are promising and what we are giving to startups. Okay. There's also some mentorship involved if it's necessary, and to open up to other partners that we might have in some other countries. Okay.
Okay, and there's a question that comes often during this challenge, is that it's about IP, that it's something that concerns, of course,
Yes.
startups.
Obviously.
Like, what does it it is for them and the startups? How would be this IP be protected? Do you have a strategy for handling this?
Yes, for us the IP is always from the startup. If we work in the basis of if we are not working on accelerating the startup, we are just working on and I think that should be clear. This program, we are trying to find startups with TRLs that are high, with MVPs that we can test, with solutions that we can test. So there won't be any acceleration part in this. So we consider that the IP it's totally for the startup. Okay, it's totally for the startup.
Okay.
If we're talking about very low TRLs where we invest, where even in those cases, normally we the IP just in very specific technical cases, not. But normally the IP it's always for the startup. In this case, definitely. Okay.
You mentioned a bit about something that's also a question there about the maturity of the startup. So they have, you mentioned they already have to have an MVP. Can you extend a little bit on that? What would be like the ideal TRL or maturity of the startup to join?
Since our and I'm talking more on social innovation in this case, okay? The session that we have for today. In this case, we really need an MVP because what we want to do is do pilots and use the technology or the product of that startup to engage with the local community, to develop business in that community, or help them solve problems. So that should be a high TRL, and that should be a ready product. Like as Niemeyer was showing, that Nigerian startup already had those solar refrigerators. They have some development on them. In one case, they have a solution that you can use the refrigerator as pay as you go. So we probably will try something as a social business. But there's also the solution of that has you don't have to pay. So we do philanthropy, but the product is ready. Okay, there's no more development needed for the problem for the product. Okay, so what we are offering you is test the solution with us, and we take care of all the expenses of the pilots.
Okay, and we have another question from Hamida. Is it so what about the pilots? They're going to be in the lab and industrial scales? Is it going to be just
some of them? Yes, it depends. Obviously, in some when if we are talking about green hydrogen or some other things that we do in our industrial facilities, definitely. If we are talking about software and energy management, it's something else. If we are talking about social innovation, it's a product that we do and we test it in communities. So it depends. Obviously, it depends on the challenge. To give you one more example, for instance, we are working in terms of mobility nowadays. We are working with a startup that has a solution to turn every electricity public post into a car charger, and that there's an MVP that they have. We are helping them develop it a little bit more, but what we are doing is finding a test bed, talking to all the stakeholders, the municipalities, the owners of the grid, our customers, in order to run a pilot and see if that we can massify that solution. So that's the kind of things that we do. Okay.
Okay. Another question is about the winners. So we're going to have 5 challenges, 5 winners in the end. You can answer
Yes.
yes.
So I would say yes. So we will definitely find a winner in each category, and our intention is to bring them to Lisbon, to Web Summit, to be with us, to showcase their product, and then do a pilot with them.
And can you tell us a little bit about how would these startups will be selected? What would be the criteria that would be taken in place for the selection of the startups?
Yeah. Well, it depends. Obviously, it depends on the category that we are talking about. But the probably the most important criteria is that it has some affinity with us. Meaning, for instance, there could be a very good startup that's working on, I don't know, something really. I'm trying to find an example. For instance, nuclear fusion, but we are not interested in nuclear fusion. We don't, obviously, the startup can be amazing, but it's not something for us. But in all the areas that we are working in, it's obviously you can look into it. The criteria will be, obviously, I think here we are really general. The criteria will be what kind of technology it is or product, if it's ready to be tested, and doing that, what kind of problem solves. Okay, but basically is that, and we will obviously have agreed with criteria or a matrix with criteria, and we'll then decide the winners. But I would say that what's important here is higher TRLs, MVP, willingness to do a pilot, to come to Portugal and test it, or any other country where we are present. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. And regarding since it's going to be a challenge, as you mentioned, quite broad. What about institutions or organizations that might not be already incorporated, but that have a solution that has a potential? Could they participate as well?
Yes, I would say so. I mean, when you say that there are not a startup per se, or there are not. Yeah, I think so. We are more interested in the solution and what we can do with it than actually in the I would say the legal name or whatever. For instance, this example, we love so much Coolbox solution, and we found that had a lot of potential to be used in Mozambican villages. That if it was not a startup, if it was an NGO, or if it was a big company, we'll probably do it the same way. Okay. So, and actually, that's one of the things that we do. The example that Nimai was giving is what we will do is sometimes to implement pilots like this, you need to manage a lot of stakeholders. And you need to, and especially if you do this in Africa, sometimes you need a lot of permits, authorization, bureaucracies. There's a lot of risk, and that's what we are here for. If we like the solution and we see that in the end uh, it can be a good fit with our business and our strategic vision, we will run after it.
Okay, sounds good. I think we have covered quite a good amount of information. I see there's I'm gonna check in the chat if we have other new questions.
Yaron is typing, but at the moment, I think we've covered everything so far.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we can move on to a view of the timeline and what's next for the challenge. Well,
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. So we have so Galp finances the cost of pilots in Africa mainly.
Yes. Well, Africa, because we were talking about social innovation, but it can be anywhere. It can be in Brazil, it can be in Portugal, it can be in Spain. It doesn't matter where it is. But yes, if we like the product, we will definitely finance all the
And
costs.
in this example, also we just mentioned also, like Manel answering the previous question, we had a benefit because since we as Galp having already Galp Mozambique in the location help us heavily since we are based in Lisbon. So if it's, of course, if we have a great fit with one of our um, geographies, we have a easiness to develop things because we are aware of the need, we are aware of the potential and the possibilities, which we are already available in 11 geographies in different continents. So it gives us a wide possibility to install, like Manel also mentioned. If we like it and if we see a great fit with the location, we are quite open to do it anywhere.
Yeah. And there's another question. So will Galp cover the fees for traveling? Two things here. Yes, to travel to Lisbon to showcase, if you are one of the winners, showcase in Lisbon the solution. Yes, we'll pay for the accommodation and the trip to Lisbon and all the expenses. In the pilot, yes, if it's necessary for to implement a pilot to go somewhere, yes, it will be included in the costs of the pilot. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Manimai. Are there any other closing remarks that you might like to say before we move on to the rest of the what we have prepared for everyone today? Maybe just a quick summary, Manuel, of what type of startups are you looking for specifically for this challenge, and you can give a couple of examples.
Yeah. So here we are looking for startups that can give access to energy to communities that they don't have it, for instance. And we talk about energy, we talk about in the, I would say, a broader sense, and give you some examples. For us, for instance, one of the startups that we were looking last year was one that had water desalinization through solar panels. So water desalinization is also very important because it's important in local communities, in communities that are off the grid and they don't have drinking water, for instance. So that's one possibility. Refrigeration not being directly energy, but it is, right? So cool, that's why Coolbox actually won. But everything that can impact local communities and help bringing energy to remote places is something that we will be looking for. Okay.
Sounds good. Quite exciting. Thank you, Manuel. So yeah, definitely this is as we mentioned, the first of five other challenges that we have. So we have this one on managing data happening today. The next one is going to be scaling energy and storage environmental processes on June 7th, decarbonizing and optimizing the industry on June 1st, then bringing energy to everyone.
That's the today
That's
one.
today. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought they were recorded. I don't know what happened. They're not.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the one today. And again, so managing data is going to be on May 25th. And then we're going to have a harnessing electromobility in partnership with BMW that is happening in June. So those are the next sessions that we have prepared.
Yes, it's important. Juan, sorry, just one more comment.
Please.
It's important to mention that. So last year we also partnered with the BMW group, and it's important for us, and it went really well. So this year we are doing it again because give us a broader range in terms of especially electric mobility and having a car manufacturer with us it expands more the possibilities of the startups that we will be looking for.
Yeah, it's super interesting, and that it definitely, if you need any more information about any of this challenge, including the harness and electromobility, please go to the website. That's startupthefuture.galp.com. There you can find all the information of this specific challenges. Plus, well, there's a link where you can apply to any of this. If we have to have a clear picture of what's coming up, so we're having during this period the Ask Me Anything sessions, as we have mentioned. Then the applications are going to close on September 10th, and then we're going to take some time to review the applications and start the evaluation process. And then the startups are going to be announced on October 13th, and then from there onwards, the collaboration will kick off. So
and on November, I think this year is November 11. I'm not sure. Those top 5 startups will be coming to Lisbon to Web Summit.
Nice. Okay, so if we have no more questions, I think we can close this session. And thank you very much for you to be here. Thank you everyone that joined in and asked all the questions today. Remember that this meeting was recorded, and we're gonna share it with you guys in our social media, and for you to, if anyone that might be able to that this would be interesting for someone, you could just share it, and the other session is going to be shared as well. If you have any further questions, just please reach out through social media, through any communication challenges, that we'll be happy to continue the discussion. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next session next week.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.